Hello, I'm UK Air Gunner, and this is the Remington 1911RAC in .177 4.5mm steel BB. So before we get going, this is the KWC 1911 that has just been branded by Remington. And also before we get going, mention a couple of things that I've done to it. First and foremost, I have weathered the metal slightly, which is why bare metal is showing on the edges. And this was the first air gun I tried weathering, so you'll see in some places I have gone slightly over the top with it, but never mind, it still looks pretty good to me. And the other thing is that I have added some real wooden grips. In case you're wondering, these are what you get when you buy it. They're just the standard hard plastic grips, black grips, so they're alright, they're not bad, but if you want a more realistic feeling, then you want some wooden grips. These are very nice. Literally type into eBay 1911 grips and you'll find a world of grips, but I found these nice wooden ones being sold in the UK for, I believe, about a tenner. I think shipping was free. And all you have to do, take out some of the material on the inside surface to accommodate the CO2. That's the only thing, and then they screw on quite happily because the screw holes are in the right place and everything, so very nice and easy. Okay, so we'll just go through a couple of specs. First of all, it is full metal, and indeed there is no plastic now on the outside surface, and it uses the standard 12 round CO2 cartridges. It shoots at roughly 1.4 joules, which gives you approximately 320 feet per second, and it is of course blowback, and it has the lockback function, so the slide locks back when you run out of BBs. And as I've said, it is the steel BB version. This is an air pistol, not an airsoft pistol. And then finally, the magazine holds up to 18 rounds, 18 BBs. So let's start by looking at the magazine. Take it out here. It is of course full-size metal dropout. Quite nice. And as you can see here, the CO2 does stick out either side, which is why you have to take out some material on the inside of these grips. It is the right size though, apart from that, all the right size, full metal. And you can see BBs go in the front side. And they load from the bottom here. Don't try and load them from the top. Pull the spring all the way down as far as it will come. And you can see, hopefully, there's a slightly wider opening once you get down here. And this is where you load the BBs from. And apparently it does hold up to 18 BBs. I tend to put 8 in though. That is more realistic. The real 1911 would hold 8 45 ACP rounds, 8 rounds. So I put 8 in for that reason, but also it's easier on the CO2. In between reloading, it just gives CO2 that little bit longer to recover, and you will find you'll probably get a couple more shots out of the one cartridge. So it's all good to do that. Okay then, so let's just have a look around the gun first. Very nice. It is the finish on it is not as you will receive yours, because I've done all sorts of things to it. I've tried weathering it and just rubbing it all over with iron wool. But yeah, anyway, so the safety, I don't know why, but for some reason my safety will engage when the hammer is not cocked. I don't know if that's the same with all of the KWC 1911s or whether I've broken mine somewhere along the line. But I don't know, nice added safety, I don't know. The fact you can engage it even when there's nothing to safeguard. Normally, of course, you should only be able to engage the safety when the hammer's cocked, because you can't do anything anyway when the hammer's down. So anyway, on the back edge, back side, got some very nice knurling there. Very nice, and that is obviously metal there. And the grip safety works, or the beaver tail safety, whatever you want to call it, that is working. That is to say, even when the hammer is cocked and the safety is off, you will still not be able to pull the trigger and shoot the air gun. you must first depress this piece, and that is normally done, of course, by gripping it. But if I can, and that way, there you go, the hammer can be released. Just another added safety, and it is true to the real 1911, which is always good. The mag release is a little bit stiff, but you know, very positive. And when you put the magazine in, just put that might as well. When you put the magazine, you do get a nice click as it engages, which is always nice. And by just pushing the button, it does release the magazine, and it will drop out on you. Gravity is strong enough to pull the magazine all the way out. No extra force is required. So be careful with that. You don't want your magazines bouncing all over the place on the floor. The slide lock, as I've said, is working. It does lock the slide back when you run out of BBs. And the trigger as well. There is some nailing, some checkering on the front of the trigger. Get a bit nicer grip on there, and also on the button on the front there as well. And then obviously you've got these serrations on the side. Then you can see the recessed barrel. I don't know how far you can see in, or if you can see in at all, but the barrel is probably recessed 7-8 millimeters, and there is some fake rifling as well in the fake barrel. And then obviously it is a smooth bore barrel, brass barrel in .177 caliber. Okay, oh, let's just take a look at the sights as well. Just standard sights, nothing special about them. This is based off the 1911A1, which is basically the World War II version. I think it came about there in 1921, but it's not the original 1911, which of course came about in 1911. So yeah, it's just the standard World War II version, so you get very basic sights, but they're more than adequate, and I think they seem to be perfectly on for me, which is handy because they are non-adjustable, obviously, which is always good. So let's just try and take this apart then. Cock the hammer first, makes pulling the slide back a little bit easier. Pull the slide all the way back first, let it slide forwards. Then you want to line the smaller notch up with the back of the slide lock there. And then all you have to do, push the other side of the slide lock, this little button, push that, and it pops out. You can pull it out there, and then the slide will just slide off. As far as the frame, the lower is concerned, that's it for a field strip. You can take all the other bits and bobs out if you are so inclined, but I am most definitely not. And then taking the slide apart, there's a couple of things you can do. With the real 1911, you'd push this button in and then turn the barrel bushing. You can take that off, and then this piece would actually come out on the spring, but that's not the case with this one. For some reason they put this little lip on it so that it doesn't come out, so you have to take it off from behind. And you could do this before taking off the barrel bushing, because then there's no pressure on this piece and it makes it a bit easier. But either way, it doesn't matter. Just let that piece out, and then the barrel just pushes out the front, and that is it. The slide is empty. Nothing in there except, of course, your blowback valve system there. The other thing to mention before we put it back together is that apparently, I do see why, but apparently you do have to put the spring on a specific way around. It is meant to go on the tighter end first. You'll see this way around, the wrong way around. It goes on very easily. Needs to go on the difficult way around. There you go. So barrel goes in from the front, all the way back, and it sort of pushes on to the CO2 bit there at the back. Then you can put the barrel bushing back on, line that up, and you can push this piece back in through. Make sure this is lined up properly and it's not askew or anything like that. Then you push the spring back in, and there you go. Slide is all back together, and it just goes back on along the rails. There is a little piece that sticks up at the back here on the frame. Just push it down or you can use excessive force and just pull the slide back. Yeah, pull the slide all the way back, let it slide forwards again, so that you can line up the smaller notch on the slide, the slide lock, and hopefully, there you go, just push it through. That is it, all back together. Okie dokie. So, in terms of shooting it, I've said that my sights thankfully are pretty much on, which is always helpful. You do get a nice little bit of a kick out of it because it is a metal slide, and there are some fairly high tension springs in there, so a nice little jolt from it, which is always nice. Love the fact that the various pieces of the grip safety works, and that the way it takes down, the way it functions is as close as you can get to a real 1911, which is the real draw for me here. So I think that's pretty much about it. Great little shooter, great fun, great starter air pistol, I think, especially if you're looking more with a blowback operation. Really good fun, great for plinking the back garden, and if the sights are half on, you can do some moderate target shooting with it, but obviously it's really not designed for that. Great little showpiece, and definitely recommend getting these aftermarket grips. I think they're worth it, just for that more realistic feel, and they're a little bit more comfortable as well. The thing with these grips is that they are quite aggressive, they're a little bit sharp. Yeah, I don't know, if you're actually gripping it quite tightly, it can be, and it's a cold day, it's not particularly comfortable. So I recommend those. And before we get to the end here, just take that out of the way, and I'll bring in the box. It's quite a nice little box by Remington. All the details inside, you get manual, you get that manual, you get this manual as well. And I think it came with some BBs and things, but nothing too special there. Back. Okay, so that is the Remington 1911RAC, made by KWC. Great fun little shooter. Thank you very much for watching. I am UK Air Gunner. Please like and subscribe, and if you want to see some epic photographs and short videos of my air guns, please follow me on Instagram. My username is UK_airgunner, or you can just follow the link below. Thank you for watching. UK Air Gunner, out.